Hi, welcome to Reform Tech channel. In this video, we'll talk about the load balancers. So, what is a load balancer? A load balancer is something that it distributes the incoming traffic across multiple instances in multiple availability zones. Okay, so you can route it based on the path, you can route based on the URL, so it depends on the requirement. Alright, so the main advantage of a load balancer, it handles failure. So if one availability zone is down, you'd be able to access the other instance which is there in the other availability zone. Okay, alright, so let's go ahead and now configure the application load balancer. Okay, so we would need two EC2 instances created. So I'm going to create two EC2 instances now quickly. Say launch instance. I will choose the Amazon itself, T2 Micro. Okay, that's fine, and I'll choose our VPC, and I'll choose this subnet, and okay, alright, so what else I have to choose? Okay, so now in the advanced details I have a script, so I'm going to give that script here. Yep, this is the script. Alright, so what the script does is it logs in as a sudo user, it's a root user, and it updates the system, and then it installs HTTPD, and it starts it and it enables it, and it goes to this path wherein it will create a index.html file, and it will create a text saying that this is the hostname. So I'm just creating this because we are creating two EC2 instances. So to differentiate between these two EC2 instances, we can differentiate with the host name, right? Both the machines will have separate host name, unique host name. Alright, so that is why I have given the statement as this is echo, this is dollar and hostname -f. Alright, okay, so that's it. Alright, so I'll say add storage, 8 GB is fine. Next tags, I'm not tagging it for now, I'm just leaving it. And okay, in the security group I will say ALB security, and I will add HTTP routes, HTTPS, and also HTTP. Right, yeah, HTTP. Okay, so I'll say review and launch. So I have an existing key pair, so I'll choose this launch instance. Okay, so it is launching, so we'll also create another EC2 instance simultaneously. Okay, I go to EC2 launch instance. Same way, I create the same instance, configure and Reform Tech, and the subnet this time I will choose the public subnet 2. Okay, the previous one was in the subnet 1 and this is in subnet 2, and I'll paste the same script here. Okay, all good. Yeah, I'll say add storage, add tags, configure security group. So I'm going to select an existing security group which I just created. This is the one, and review and launch, I'll say launch. So I'll choose the existing key pair, launch instance. Alright, so now we have created two EC2 instance, and also we have installed the Apache web server there. So on both the instances, let's see whether it's up and running. Let's see here. The first instance is here. Okay, it's not it up. It's still starting. It's still starting. Let's see. Let's wait for a few more minutes. It's initializing. It's still initializing. Yeah, so one got initialized. So let's text this. So I'll just click on this, and you'll have the public DNS here, right? So just copy it and just browse it. So I just browsed it. Let's see what happened. Alright, so we are able to fetch the page, right? So it says this is the host name. Okay, So this is in 10.0.0.40. Okay, now let's check the other one also. So I'll uncheck this, I'll click on the other one, and yeah, you got the DNS. Let's see whether it is initialized. No, it is still initializing. Let's wait for a minute for it to initialize. Still initializing. Okay, it's still initializing. Yeah, done. So I'll click this and I'll copy this. I will paste it in our browser. Yep. Okay, so when you hit this URL, you see there's 10.0.0.40. this is the host name of that machine, and when you hit the other URL you see 57. Okay, so now we have two EC2 instance created in two availability zones. Okay, so now let's create a load balancer and see how that it works. Okay, so for that we have to first create a target group. So we have the targets. Okay, the targets are two EC2 instance. Now we are going to create a target group. Alright, so I say create target group, and we have to do this for the instance. And now the target group name, I will mention it as Reform Tech, maybe Reform Tech TG. Alright, so target group meaning and the VPC Reform Tech Health6. Okay, this Health6 you can leave it as it is, or if you want, if you are doing some path based routing, then you could add the path there. For now I do not have anything, so I'm just leaving as it is. And in advanced health settings, so you have several options like number of consecutive Health6 you should do and make the instance unhealthy. So it is by default 5. You can mention anything from 2 to the range of 10. And also there are several strategies like this. So for unhealthy threshold, it could see 2 times and then say that it's unhealthy. So time mode also there, interval is there, success code is there. Okay, so you can configure it according to a requirement and then say next. Okay, I'm sorry for that. Okay, I'll see Reform Tech, and okay, I'll just leave it as Reform Tech for now. Okay, so now we have to register our targets. So I have two EC2 instance created, so I'm clicking on this two EC2 instance. I'll say include as pending below, and it is now included here, and I'll say create target groups. Alright, so the target groups are now created. Now let's go and create a load balancer. Go to load balancer, now say create load balancer, and we are going to create application load balancer. So say create and just name this Reform Tech ALB, I'll say, and it's internet facing, so I'll choose internet facing option, and IPv4 VPC is Reform Tech, and we have to choose the subnets. So I'm choosing it in public subnet 1 and the one in the public subnet 2. Okay, this is done. Now security group, we already have a security group, right? So I will just add that security group in here, and also okay, now here we have to select our target group which we just created. So I'm just selecting a target group here, and that is it. All good. Alright, so I say create load balancer, and it will take some time to get created. It's in provisioning state now. Yeah, so so in load balancers you have these options like listeners, so you can configure any listeners. If any other port or any other HTTPS, you can configure 443, and you have monitoring also, and you have in monitoring you see all these target response requests and all of the details here. And you have tags. I do not tag it for now, but if you want you can tag it later also. Alright, so these are the things available in the load balancer. I'll refresh and see, it is still provisioning. Let's wait for a minute for it to provision. Yeah, so you see the other names also, the ARN, the DNS and things. So the IP, I mean, which VPC it is launched, the availability zones, the security groups, the attributes, everything is there. If you want, you could even edit it later, but I don't want to do it for now. I'll leave it as it is. And let's see whether it is created. It's still provisioning. Okay, okay, so let's wait for a minute. It's still provisioning. It's still provisioning. Okay, let's copy this DNS and keep. Okay, and let's see. Yeah, that's active now. Alright, so the load balancer is now active. So now we are going to test it. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to hit the DNS in my web page. Okay, so if I hit this DNS, it's loading. Okay, the first time you see it directed to the instance of 40. Okay, it directed to this instance. Now let me refresh the page. I'm refreshing the page. It's still, the load is still on the 40 instance, and now I'll refresh it again. I'll refresh it again. Now it goes to 57 also. Okay, can you see that it changes 40 and 57? So it meaning that the load is being distributed and among both the instances. Alright, so this is how we can configure a load balancer, and this is how an application load balancer works. Alright, thank you for watching this video, and stay tuned for my next video.